Aha, so that gap was the culprit. Like, ta-da! Hello and welcome. This is my day 3 of building my TypeScript application. We are building dedupes and we are in the phase of making it look pretty. That's what we are trying to do. So let me share my screen and let's get started. At this point, the application looks like this and it's not pretty. I have tried my best to sprinkle everything that I can all over the screen. We are going to work around that. Let's see. To do that, this is where we are, version 0.2. I have updated the Git repository with versions so that you can follow it along as I build this. The next version I'm going to do is check out -v version 0.3 so that all the changes that I make in this video is going to be under 3.0.3, which is version 3 or like sitting number 3. Let's get started. Previously, when we did this, we haven't actually designed it. I'm not a designer. I'm not a front-end developer. I didn't care about it. All I cared was about the logic that is intact. What I'm going to do is make it pretty, move things around, thinking about it. I haven't even whiteboarded it. Okay, let's start with an empty canvas like this. And I have my logo over here. I'm just doing a very rough sketch. Don't judge me. And then on the right, I'm just going to leave it like that because we are not going to do anything. And then we are sure about having a huge text area where we display our things, right? So I'm thinking, should we do all controls on the right? Because there's so many controls going on here. Upload, download, or maybe if should we have this blue button? Should it be all icons? These are some of the decisions that you like designers would make. But let's see. Maybe remove duplicate should be on the right because you don't have to move all the way here. Let's start there. I think that's a good place to start. So do the magic over here and another one over here. I really like this curved lines. And for upload and download, I'm going to like give a two circles over here so that I can upload and download. I know that I can get rid of this somehow and work by hiding this altogether. So whenever I do this, it opens this, right? So that can be avoided. So let's actually, I like this. So we are not even going to go all the way here, but rather slightly over here. I like this. I actually like this. Maybe if we move this here, will it make maybe in the center? Actually, that's pretty good. Okay, don't judge me, but I like this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like try and do this with CSS. Jokes on me because I suck at CSS. So let's try Tailwind. Yeah, don't mind. Let's open Tailwind CSS. I'm gonna follow Tailwind CSS documentation like it's my Bible. Where do I even begin? Should I remove just every CSS that I ever see? So the first thing that I'm going to try is create a layout for this. For that, I have this main box which does a bunch of things. I need to figure out what those are because I have no clue what it actually is. A nice P over here with a bunch of background. I am actually going to preserve everything that is there. And next I'm going to like try and remove. So if I remove the flex, it's just expanding the whole thing over there. And if I remove the padding, nothing really happens. And this is the whole main block. So anything above that is just this div. And I don't know why it's like maybe this maximum 5 with 5 Excel. What if I make this? Actually, I have to remove that. Oh, that is not good. Okay, let's refresh, start over. And this is going to be fast forwarded because figuring this out is not easy, or at least for me. So I'm going to fast forward most of this video. W full, we remove that. Voila. So that is pretty much how I figure out most of it, but that didn't work at all. W full didn't work. If I remove this element altogether and leaving PO, that is not a good idea. Hey, that did work. See, it's there. It's right there. Super. I removed max 5 Excel and W full. So let's remove only W full and see how this works. That does the magic, and I like it like that. Probably maybe change the font and its color, maybe to pop it up a little bit. Other than that, I'm gonna keep things pretty standard. And I don't know how much of these I need. Let's leave it like that. Let's just get a layout ready and then worry about it pretty. Next, I'm going to do the text area. Text area, I like the curved edges. So we have to move the buttons, of course. But let's think about layout. We have one huge layout, which is our main, and this is a layout, and this is a div, and then we are going to have a button div. Okay, we're going to have 4 divs. One is our main div, and one for the logo and everything at the top, and one for this text area, and another for just the buttons, like 4 buttons. Anything that's on the bottom is going to be there. Okay, so we can also move the clear button here, but it doesn't make sense. I like the balancing it out. Oh yeah, we are supposed to make divs. So for that, I'm going to skip all of these buttons and go all the way to the text area and add a class name, border style solid. Now let's go back here. And for me, the border only occurs when I hover on top of it. It just doesn't happen naturally. Let's make it dotted. Who's going to care about it? I think there is some natural thingy going on here. I don't know. Border radius. Yes, this is what we are looking for. I am going to keep it to a bare minimum, rounded MD. And oh yeah, you see that rounded MD, it's nice. And maybe even rounded LG. And Tailwind text area, remove default border on focus. Okay, that was an outline. So that is great. Now we just have to add some padding to this. P3 so that it appears like this, like nicely intended. Sometimes it's confusing, so I like to keep it as minimal as possible. And then what we are going to do is add some width to it. 0 is barely visible too. The color, border color. The border color should be a nice gray because we are keeping that grayish scene to it. So let's do something over. Yeah, border gray 400. I like this one. It's not very on the face, but also very, very subtle. That's very on the face. So let's maybe reduce this to 300. Okay, that's not on the face and also very pretty, but I don't like the dotted. So I'm going to just remove this and just leave it like that. Yeah, you don't need a hover effect. Next is we have to move all of this to the bottom, and that's going to be our button div. So we are going to move this whole div over to the bottom. The bottom, we already have a button div. So what we're going to do is just place it here. And so we need 2 more divs, one for the left side of the things and one for the right side of the things. So we're going to pair this up and pair that up so that you just have to work with 2 elements and not 4 elements. So we have one whole div for the bottom section. We need one more div for the left-hand side section. And we have another div for the right-hand side section. So let's look at it, take a closer look at it. I'm just going to give a random class name to this. because left, okay, buttons, and this has the class name left buttons, and this will have the class name. We're not going to give it any properties, just for us to understand what is going on. Now we have to move those buttons to those respective places. Okay, we will fix that. What are we doing? So on the right, we want two buttons. One is here. Okay, let's see how this looks. So now everything is here. The first and the foremost thing that we are supposed to do is move things, like split things. And I know I can do that with grid. We can also do it with float. I know that's frowned upon. I don't know what's the equivalent of that in Tailwind, but let's figure that out. But before I do that, I want to just take a pause and then fix this logic. On the left buttons, we have this input and class name, display none. So when I start to display nothing, hidden. Okay, that's the, okay, now it's hidden and everything is like this. Cool. The next thing that we're going to do is figure out what does this div look like the parent div. The parent div buttons has a overlay, so that's great. And left buttons is a full-on div and right buttons is a full-on div. We don't want, these two should share this space. So this, I'm going to leave it for buttons, but then we need something to, you know, interlay this. So when I click on upload file, button, we should also trigger the click functionality so that we can upload some file. Okay, so we did move things around a little bit. So what we're going to do is when we click the button, what we did here is when we click the button, we are just triggering everything that's happening here. We're just triggering the click of a file input element. So instead of clicking on choose file, we are using this button to upload our file, and all the logic that we had for reading the file and setting the textarea value, we are moving it to the hidden element. So that's how we have structured this. And a great thanks to this particular article for me to help navigate this. This has very great explanation. Thanks to Masa. I hope I got your name right. But voila, we have this. Now let's remove duplicates, clear, everything looks great. So that logic has been moved around. Next, what we have to do is move these two. So this is going to serve as my grid with two elements. So actually, this is like class name, okay, bottom area and class name buttons. Okay. So now we have to grid it. Not grade it, grid. Grid template columns. This is what we are looking for. And What kind of grid I want is uh, auto flow, auto columns, place content. Okay, this is kind of what I need, but you can only place content for the whole thing. Class flex and then flex row. Now it's all nicely here. You just need a split in the middle. So what we're going to do is flex direction, flex grow, flex shrink. Maybe what if we do with grid and grid calls? Oh, it moves like that. Okay. Grid template columns. And we need only 2 repetitions of this because we only have 2 segments. Nothing really happened. Why? Grid calls for cap 4. Okay, it's not like this. It has to be grid calls to cap 4. Let's see. Okay, that looks okay, but it's also not floating to the top right? So start, end at 12. We want this column to end at 12. So let's add this. Call start at 0, and this call will end at 12. Yay! So the perk of doing that is, I'll show you. Okay, I'll not show you. Ta-da! Basically, it should not be like this, like one below the other. It should stay like at least like the buttons on the right. But I don't know why it's like going over there. Let's see. So I'm gonna like, it has enough space. Aha, so that gap was the culprit. Like, ta-da! Nice, no? So what other things that I want to add is padding top. Not padding top, margin top. I want to add like 10 so that it doesn't stick over there. H. Yeah, we are going to make it a lot more beautiful, but for now, this looks nice. This looks neat. So that is for today. Let's try a test one more time. Remove duplicates, download file, and then clear everything. So we should also open the downloaded files. Oh, there we go. So yeah, everything is still intact. This is version 3 or version 0.3 or the third video. The link is in the description. So you can follow along or see what is happening here. I'll see you in the next video.